the person that's listening to you and just crossed the line intellectually and said, doggone it, all right, it happened.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
I think that the next step is to realize that Jesus of Nazareth holds the key that unlocks the door to eternal life. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me shall never die, and though he die, yet shall he live. Death, I think, is man's greatest existential enemy because it puts all of human existence with a question mark behind it. What is the meaning and significance of my life if ultimately I live only to die? And if the human race as a whole lives only to die? And the resurrection of Jesus tells us that the grave is not our ultimate destiny, that ultimately our destiny is eternal life and fellowship with God that is available through faith in Jesus Christ as he promised. So I think that the resurrection of Jesus, if it occurred, is something that it has tremendous existential significance for every human being because it holds the key to purpose and meaning in life here on earth and in the life hereafter.
Now, what if you're persuaded in your mind that the historical evidence shows that Jesus actually rose from the dead? Did you know that just believing that in your mind doesn't make you a Christian any more than being a church member makes you a Christian? What should you do? Well, first, realize the evidence points to the fact that what Jesus said about himself is true, namely that he is the Son of God. Second, in that evidence, we find that Jesus himself tells us why he came and what the good news is all about. Dr. Darrell Bock, professor of New Testament at Dallas Seminary, talks about this.
I think the gospel is the good news that God has provided a way to come into your life forever. Not as a ticket, okay, but into a relationship. And he has provided the way to that relationship through the person and work of Jesus Christ. Not only the sacrifice for sins, but the provision of his very own Spirit coming into your life so that you can relate to God on a healthy level and overcome the sinfulness that is inherent in you. And the good news is that God is committed to that relationship, so committed to that relationship that he sent his only Son to die that it might take place. And the only requirement that exists, it's a serious requirement, the only requirement is that you believe that he's done that for you, and in faith you ask for that relationship through Jesus Christ. It's that simple and that demanding, because once God comes into your life, he's in it to do a marvelous work, a work that grounds you in a relationship with God that will never end.